Hello everyone, welcome to my English classroom. In my previous video on the poem Keeping Quiet, we dealt with the introduction and the explanation of the poem. And today in this video, we will deal with the theme, rhyme scheme and poetic devices used in the poem. So let's first go for the theme of the poem. There are mainly three themes in this poem. The first theme is the brotherhood, universal brotherhood. So, brotherhood is an important theme of the poem, to which the theme of anti-violence is also linked. Neruda has showcased an anti-war attitude in the poem and has branded war as meaningless since it brings the illusion of victory at the very heavy price of human lives. No one really benefits from the war. Instead, one brother turns against another. The poet wishes for people across the world to unite together in their moment of silence and stillness. He hopes it will make humans aware of the values of brotherhood and the religion of humanity. Come to the next point. The next theme is anti-materialism. So, all the human beings are materialistic, they are for their materialistic gains. That's why a kind of disapproving attitude towards materialism is another important theme in this poem. Neruda speaks against a very materialistic approach towards life. According to him, life is about a lot more than achieving a certain checklist of goals before death puts an end to us. One can only have a successful life by really understanding oneself, away from the rat race which we usually attach to our existence. So that's why Neruda wanted us to introspect. So next theme is rejuvenation, means the rebirth. The poet says that the phase of stillness or silence which he wants his readers to undergo should not be mistaken as death. Just as spring takes away all the dormancy of winter, the phase of keeping quiet will also be followed by a burst of meaningful philanthropic activity. So, what is philanthropic activity? The activity that does welfare to all human beings, to the mankind. That's why philanthropic activity. Now, we will go for the rhyme scheme of the poem. So, this poem does not have any rhyme scheme. Like most of the Pablo Neruda's poems, it has also no rhyme scheme. It is written in blank verse or free verse. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. Next, poetic devices. At first, the easiest poetic device that is used in the poem is alliteration. So, what is alliteration? It is the repeated use or a repetition of consonant, letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Okay. So, you can find several examples I have put here together. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Look at the underlined letters. Okay. The repetition of the letter W or the sound W. Then we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. So, in this line, first line we would, again W, then second line sudden strangeness, S, the consonant letter S. His hurt hands, so H, the letter H repeated. Then wars with gas, wars with fire, again W repeated. Would put on clean clothes, C, the letter C, sound C repeated. Then another example is repetition. So, what is repetition? It is also a repetition or repeated use of words or phrases in a poem. Why? To emphasize the meaning. Okay, that is why it is repeated. So, here in this line, without rush, without engines. So, the word without is repeated. Wars with gas, wars with fire. So, wars with, this phrase is repeated. That is why words or phrases I said. So, wars with, this phrase is repeated for the sake of emphasis. okay, to the meaning. Then another is anaphora. It's also kind of repetition. It is a repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive lines. Consequent lines, successive lines, you can have some repetition in the beginning. That's called anaphora. So in these two lines, let's not speak in any language, let's stop for a second. So let us. This word is repeated here. That's why it's called anaphora. Then you can find pun in this poem. So first you should know what is pun. In pun, there is a singular sound but double meaning. So duplicity of sense is created because of the unity of sound. So sound is same, singular, but the meaning is different. Here arms, the word arms is an instance of pun. Arms here stands for a body part. So literally arms stands for body part. Sometimes also it is also referred to weaponry or weapons used in the war. That's why it is a kind of pun. One singular sound but sense is duplicate, sense is double. Then personification. You all know what is personification. It is a kind of you can say non-human things or inanimate objects or things who are given some human attributes or human qualities or abilities. Then it's called personification. Here in this line, perhaps the earth can teach us. It is personified. Who is personified? The earth is personified, okay, with a teacher. So as a teacher teaches us, similarly the earth can also teach us. That's why it is called personification. Then symbolism. What is symbolism? It is the use of symbols to stand for some ideas or qualities other than the literal meaning or literal sense. So the apparent meaning is there, what you can understand very easily, but apart from the apparent meaning, sometimes we have some meaning inside or some ideas or concept inside which that are used by symbols. So what kind of symbolism used here? So in these lines, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would not look at his hurt hands. There are symbols for fishermen, whales, and the man gathering salt. Fishermen symbolizes the oppressors, the whale symbolizes the oppressed section of the society, and the man gathering salt symbolizes the whole humanity, the whole mankind. Okay. The next line, would put on clean clothes. So here clean clothes symbolizes the peace in the world. Next is antithesis. Now what is antithesis? Antithesis is a kind of where two ideas are put together to achieve a contrasting effect. Okay, so two contrasting ideas are put together to achieve a contrasting effect. What happens here? Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. So mark the word dead and alive. So a thing which is dead, how can it be alive? There is a kind of contrast in your mind also. There is a kind of conflict. So out of this conflict, the poet in this poem proves that how nature, which seems dead in the winter season, how it proves to be alive in the coming season, that is spring, how it flourishes in the spring. It gives a kind of rebirth in the spring. That's why it is called antithesis. So from the death comes the birth. That's why a contrasting effect, or a you can say contrasting ideas. So these are the poetic devices used in this poem. So today we have discussed about the theme of the poem, the rhyme scheme, and the poetic devices used in the poem. That's all for today. Thank you.